Hi there. I had a viewer email me with questions about past life regression, and I just wanted to maybe alleviate some of your fears or give you some ideas about how it works, how I think it works. Now, past life regression is maybe people think it's a little scary, or any hypnosis think people think it's a little scary. Just first of all, it's just like relaxing and you're sleeping. I'll start there. And then I'm going to explain to you that it is not, it's miraculous. It's so much better than talk therapy in many ways because it gets to the source of the issue that you're dealing with. So in the past, I've had my own past life regression. And when I was in school, I learned that this is my theory that I believe that we all are part of this larger one God light. And in the Big Bang, a trillion years ago, that's what I think had happened. The whole universe exploded, our universe, and all those particles, those fractions of light, some of them just dispersed out forever, and some turned into things that orbit around stars and stars themselves. And those tiny fractions of light are what I think we absorb or we take into our soul. Our soul are those. Those are the pieces of the God that I think of. The pure love or the energy of God is that larger oneness, that explosion that happened that we're all trying to get back to. If you think about it, I think of, how people like to go back to heaven and they want to get to that place where it's blissful and in pure love and unconditional. And that's the feeling I have, is that we're all just tuned into that, even though we're not aware of it. And they were all ready to go back there. So as we are all fractions of light, my experience with doing past life regression on other people through the years, I have seen them, any person, any animal, any object in the future, in Atlantis, underwater. You can't shock me about where our energetic beings go in the vast millennia, all this time that we've been here. As humans, as animals on this earth, it's hard to recognize that. Some people are tuned into it, but it's really hard to recognize it in us that we would have this connection on that bigger, greater level. And it feels like we have to go somewhere, but it's all right here. Our God light, our fractions of light, our energetic beings are still with us. And that is carried in our subconscious, in our memories, in our bodies. So our bodies have this memory that we cannot quite tune into, as our conscious mind says, well, that's just silly. I don't know why I would remember anything or why that bothers me. But our memories and our subconscious has all those memories from childhood and before and beyond. So what hypnotherapy does is it relaxes you and you get into this state, this open state of almost like sleep. And you get into that place where you can address those memories or that subconscious information that your soul is brought into this life and you are meant to learn from. And another word for it is karma. And we as humans, this is our school, and we bring with us through each of these lives this history on a soul level, that in different lives we have acted a certain way, we've hurt people have hurt us, and we are here to learn how to release those or learn from them and evolve. The point of us evolving is to get back to that pure love state and that pure love place. Doesn't mean we get better to be better people. It's just on our soul, because every soul is different and we all are learning different things. So, for example, you have a spirit family or a soul family on the other side. And we all take turns in our different lives to agree. We have a contract, and you agree to come down in this life and work out those problems. So say, for instance, in a past life, you were together with a couple of people that are here now with you, and you were in a tribe. And in this tribe, for whatever reason, you got in trouble or you got in fights or whatever, and the tribe kicked you out. So you became an outsider and you became abandoned. And those people in that tribe happen to be in this life. And so these feelings of abandonment or being an outsider or never having part of a family or enough, they get repeated now. And the people that in that past life in that tribe are here now. And for whatever reason, they're either helping you or triggering those experiences for you to evolve and heal from them. So perhaps how that works is you decide is in this soul contract to come into this life in a family that is kind of dysfunctional. Mom or dad is gone, or you feel left out, or they don't have good skills. And so that karmic pattern is being repeated. You feel like an outsider. You might have depression. You might feel like I'm never part of anything, if you get what I mean. So it's that kind of repeated pattern. And maybe one of those people in your soul family is the bad guy, or maybe they are teaching you or reminding you through this life, what you went through that life and how you can heal. And what it does is it puts tension on you, and the karma is meant for you to address your soul's path and how you can heal. So we repeat these patterns in different lives, and some of them are similar, and you might skip some lives and you're addressing this particular karma issue in one life, and then you wait for another time. But your soul family or your spirit family are all here, or not all here, excuse me. A few of them are here with you, and they're all helping or, pushing you to make those changes. So what we do with hypnotherapy is we get to the place where you because the funny thing about your subconscious and your soul, it takes you where you need to go, but sometimes it's not where you think it is. So maybe you have this depression here and abandonment and different things you want to be over, in this life, and they're very frustrating. Your subconscious might take you, or when you're getting that relaxed state in hypnotherapy, your subconscious and your soul shows you another life where you had something similar, but not exactly. And there was another thing that you need to see first. And then you process these different lives as you return to different things at different sessions. And it's miraculous. Honestly, I'm telling you, it's magic, because me, for example, I had a lot of fears, and I had this friend who I didn't understand why she broke my heart. And I, in my 40s, I realized, I just had this stuff that stuck with me. And that particular friend in a past life was somebody that, without getting into too much detail, I hurt. It was like 500 years ago, and I was not a good person. So the karmic pattern between us, and she was a child and I was a grown man, and I saw what I did, and it made me understand why she felt the way she is, why she felt. It was kind of I didn't do anything horrible, but there was she had a feeling towards me that I didn't understand. And I realized, oh, I get it now. She brought that into this life, and she was part of my soul family, and she was here to teach me that lesson. And once I understood that situation, the power was gone. It stopped poisoning my actions and behaviors and thoughts. And that's just one little instance. So just as a side note, there's this psychiatrist, Dr. Brian Weiss. He's a real psychiatrist, and he was the one that started the credibility factor for past lives. This is like 25 years ago, I think. Yeah, he wrote that book, Many Masters, Many Lives, if I hadn't said it. And he had this client or this patient, I think Kathleen or Catherine, and she was like severely fearful and full of anxiety and depression. And I think he had worked with her for like a year, couldn't get anywhere. She just seemed like she wasn't making any headway. Well, he decided one day to do hypnosis on her just to see if maybe that would help, maybe give her some suggestions in a relaxed state to help her calm her mind. Well, what happened is she was very suggestible. She went right into a past life right away. And this life, she realized she was killed. She was killed in a very violent way. And I mean, it doesn't really matter. But when she came out of this first session, he was like, she was a little bit, her anxiety was a little bit alleviated. So he started to see, oh, this is helping. And he was surprised. He didn't know if, he thought her brain was making it up. He, psychiatrists are doctors, so they're scientists, so they don't necessarily believe this. So but he repeated it because he said it was working. So every time he went and did a session, she went to another life and she learned something else, and her symptoms got easier and easier. And then before you know it, she was so much better, and she didn't have the fear and the anxiety that she used to have. And he still didn't believe it really, and he still thought it was her brain kind of making it up. Well, then I think I'm kind of summarizing this, but at one of her lives, she went to, and maybe it was in the life between lives when she's going to the heavenly realms, she spoke to his ancestors, his Jewish ancestors, and I think she could name them, and they had information for him that there is no way on God's green earth she would have known this. And he realized that she was telling the truth. She would speak different languages, and that doesn't always happen in my experience when I'm with clients, but for her it did. And he was blown away, and he started doing other experiments and realizing and getting this proof in his mind that it actually was past lives. Still doesn't understand it, and we still don't know exactly how it works, but I have some theories. Like I said, our subconscious, and we have memories that hold that history, this life and other lives. And the karma is meant to be released, and we evolve as souls, and we're meant to get to a place where we're connected to that pure love, that God light. So the other thing I wanted to explain, my viewer, or the person who asked that question, was asking about, could you have, when you die in one life, would you come back, like just restart up that same time? Say you died on November 15th. Would you come back on November 15th, your birthday? No. I mean, it's possible, but that's not how it works. Now, and a layer of this is astrology. And there's a book, I forget what it's called, by Jeffrey Green. And he discusses in astrology how the nodes, the moon's nodes, and they're particular points in the sky, south node and north node. I think in Vedic astrology, they call it Rahu, Ketu, and Rahu, or whatever. And then Pluto. So in your astrology, in Western astrology, wherever those points are, south node is where your past life is. North node is where you're going, where you're learning, and where you're stretching yourself and challenging yourself. And Pluto is some of the direction or the means to how you learn this. But the south node could be in the sign of Scorpio. Say you were born in that life and you were a Scorpio type person. Pluto rules Scorpio. Pluto could be conjunct your south node, or you could have other aspects that are reflected in that person's personality or situations, because the south node, things that are around it or aspect it, kind of give you an idea of past lives, tell you in general what you are bringing into this life. So maybe they're really rigid or something, and then your north node is a very loosey-goosey kind of sign and in a, free and easy. So you're supposed to let go of this rigidity or whatever it is. And maybe in the past life you were, you had to hold on because you were going to, your whole survival was at stake. And this life, you have to let that go, but you don't understand why you want to have so much money in the bank. You don't understand why you don't want to let go, and your relationships are really rigid, and you're such a control freak. So that's the kind of stuff I'm saying, is that it doesn't necessarily mean the birth date and the death date have anything to do with it, but the south node and the past lives are connected to astrological aspects that you bring into this time. Now, I just wanted to alleviate some fears. This is a very safe, comfortable thing. You may jump from life to life, and even in one session. And what I do is, and I find it's the most effective, if you go to your period of time when you've passed through these different events in your life that are emotional, maybe, but you don't have any pain, you don't have any experience where you're scared or anything like that. It doesn't happen. You're just watching it, kind of like a movie. But what happens is you connect the end of your life with this life, and you look directly at the lessons in that life and how they are what you bring into now. And this is so powerful because you really release. It's like me and my friend, and I didn't understand, but I understood, because it releases that poison, that power that keeps you stuck in this revolving door of why can't I? Because you're still, your subconscious is here and you haven't really tuned into it, because our conscious mind just, we like to stay in here, and I know what to do, and I just have to have willpower, and I can figure it out, and I can study stuff but we know, our childhood selves know, and then over time we lose that. Like, there's children who can play the piano and are artists when they're 3 or 5 years old, or they can name planes or wartime planes from World War II, and their parents are like, what the hell? How can they even know that? They had that experience and they're still in touch with it. But as we age, most of us forget it. And it's like, we don't have that connection anymore. So that's all this is. It's getting to that point of those memories, that connection in your subconscious, that your soul is here to learn. And it's amazing. And like I said, I really think it's a beautiful thing. That's it. But I did want to say, sometimes there's also these things where you have, like, some people have moles in a certain place, or they have an injury, or even breast cancer, or their arm gets cut, or if you haven't resolved that particular thing, say you got stabbed in the chest in a battle and you died in the 1600s or whatever it was. In this life, you have open heart surgery, or you have a scar, or you have a mole there, or somebody hits you in the chest and you have sternum issues, or whatever it is. It's repeated because you're still holding that pain and that history within you. It doesn't happen all the time like that, but sometimes that's the most fascinating thing for me, is to help people release those particular repeated things and just the stubborn stuff. And then magically or miraculously, you heal. You heal inside, you heal your body. Sometimes sicknesses, illnesses are related to an emotional pain. Sometimes they're related to, it's a manifestation of physical illness, is a manifestation of emotional pain. And not that you're forced to be that way in this life, but it's almost like, every life is meant for you to grow. And if you heal that particular pattern, or you repeat that pattern and you don't process it in a way that helps you relieve it, it gets harder and harder each life. Your spirit family, your soul family comes down, and it makes it harder and harder for you just to let it go and to learn and to heal. It's a beautiful thing. It's sort of a tragic in a way, but we're all here to love each other and to do our best for each other. And we're all connected in that God light. And we're all have this ability to enter that state of pure love that's within us. And it's just our human bodies are holding all that experience, and we're meant to evolve. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, you can always email. You don't have to do anything in the comment section. If you want to just email me, it's in the description box. Really, really a fascinating process. And like I said, it's very comfortable and relaxing, and you don't feel pain or concern or scared or anything like that. It's just like sleeping or relaxing and having a nap, honestly. And then you talk through it and you share what you're seeing. And yeah, and sometimes it takes a few times, because people are, heads going, and you don't know if what you're seeing is accurate. You kind of talk yourself out of it. but we work through that. I really appreciate your viewership and all your likes and subscribes. And if you have any more questions, let me know. All is well.